What is up, everyone? I'm coming on here for a couple of plays for the day. As you guys can see on the screen, we had another really close entry right here for another potential 4x, and goes ahead and goes under together. So beginning really unlucky with these 4-mans, and we've definitely been on a drought for them in the past maybe like 9 or 10 days. It's really crazy because if you go back 9-10 days, we hit a 4-man every single day, right? And that's kind of the ebbs and flows of betting. That's why betting can be frustrating sometimes, is because one week you'll feel like you can hit absolutely everything. You feel like nothing misses and you're just hitting every day. And then sometimes you can't hit anything. And, the 4-mans, as I always say, whether it's winning or losing days, they are very important, right? And eventually they're going to come through. Eventually they're going to start rolling in. But again, as you guys can see in these graphs that I track every day, I just updated this 5 minutes ago, as I always do. These bumps up in these bumps up in these graphs, these kind of big, swings up, as you guys see, these are all examples of 9x hitting or 10x is hitting, these 4-mans hitting for us. And really this past week and a half, we have not had any of these hit, and we've gotten very close. We've had a lot of 3 out of 4s. We've had a lot of entries that look exactly like this, where one side of it goes correlated, the other side goes correlated. But you'll see, in winning weeks like this, we're playing the same entries, guys, this week, right? We have League of Legends, we have Counter-Strike, we have, Call of Duty over here, we have Valorant, and these are all sports that we are still betting on, of course, and we've been betting on over the past year. Really, the only thing that has changed is now there's obviously the preseason going on, and we've actually been doing pretty well so far in the preseason, at least hitting those matchups and hitting those kind of combinations, right? As you guys can see here, Anthony Gold and Anthony Richardson go under together because, again, Anthony Richardson did not throw the ball very well. He actually got injured, and then Anthony Gold does go under too. Real quickly, guys, this was a play that I think it was Wednesday's play. I know some of you guys probably got this and some of you guys hit. Some of you guys probably didn't, which is unfortunate because Bulldog did end up bumping down, which some of you guys might have got Bulldog at 13.5. But yeah, both of these hit by 0.5. So it's an example of these bumps are a big deal because sometimes they'll hit, sometimes they won't hit based on these just like minor differences in lines. And then I do want to go over yesterday's entry. Pretty much Delight's team ended up sweeping them, which as I said yesterday, it was 50-50 when they swept if they were going to go over under. We were really betting on this game to go 1-1. KT is also a really good team, and they face HLE. I thought this team could definitely go 1-1 against them, and I thought there was probably an 80% chance if that did happen that Delight would go under. But again, HLE swept them 2-0, so he goes over right there. I do want to give myself a little bit of credit here because Ashton Genty call was just like honestly absolutely perfect. I couldn't have called it any better, even though the entry missed. We're definitely on the right track here, and again, like I've bet through preseason for two years now. I know how it works, and Ashton Genty got 3 rushes. He got -1 yards. It doesn't really matter how many yards he got, even though he got -1 yards, and it's like it was a good call. Like I said, there is no way he is going to get 5, 6, 7 rushes in this game. He is the star player on their offense immediately from day one. Why would they run him any more than 2 series or 1 series even, right? And like again, I didn't see any way, shape, or form he was going to get more than 3 or 4 rushes. I don't even know why they started him. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't play him the rest of the preseason. They say, look, you got -1 yards, but you're Ashton Genty. You're going to be a lot of our offense this year, and we're just going to sit you now. So good call there. Again, as I said, was there a chance in the 3 rushes that Ashton Genty had that he could have broke out a 30-yard run? Yes, of course, guys, right? Of course that could happen. It's football. Anything can happen. But if he only gets 3 rushes, it's very unlikely that he gets 25 or 23 yards or whatever it is, right? So again, good call there. We couldn't finish it up with Delight, but it is what it is at the end of the day. As you guys know, I track absolutely everything. This is our summer so far. We're definitely on a losing streak this past 9-10 days. I've been very vocal about that. But you guys can see we've had similar loss streaks, guys. We've had, you guys can see there's ups and downs as always in this graph, and you guys will see this is over, about 600 to 700 bets so far this summer since May 1st, up 113 units, which would be more than $1,000 for a $10 better. And then last year, guys, we go up 600 units on about 3,000 bets. All right, so you can't fake 3,000 bets. 3,000 bets of data is a lot of data. And again, if we stick to our strategy, which is correlation and which is closing line value, you guys know that we will win long term, right? Over 3,000 bets of data, over 600 bets of data, 500 bets of data. You guys know we win long term. And right, we have all those graphs to kind of back that up. So Let's get into today's plays, guys. I honestly am going to start with Hans Sama, but this Shedeur Sanders line is getting way too out of hand. It is way too high right now. I don't care if Shedeur Sanders plays the whole game, all right? And I'll get into that. But Hans Sama, let me quickly go through why I like him. I like him up to, I'll say 12. And the reason being is because this is a very, very high likelihood of a sweep, okay? G2 is minus 200 to sweep TH. So this team that Hans Sama is on is minus 200 odds to go ahead and go 2-0. So that means win both games. Now, if you look at Hans Sama's average in just wins, he averages 8.8 assists in wins. So again, he has minus 200 to win both these games. So if you look at his average assist line in wins, he's averaging almost 9 assists in wins. Okay, in 2 matches, that means that he would likely get around 17 or 18 assists. Now, do I think he's going to get 17 or 18 assists? He could, but I think he'll probably more get like maybe 14 or 15, which is still really good and still a lot higher than 11, obviously. So take him at 11. Take him at 11.5, take him at 12 also. I would honestly say when it gets to around 12.5, I'd probably stray away from it at that point. But yeah, just a quick, really easy, simple line right there. These lines like honestly just came out, so they probably will bump up to 11.5. It's still an absolutely great play at 11.5, guys. All right, Shedeur Sanders at 155. Now, it's a very similar story to Ashton Genty. Yes, everyone's excited for Ashton Genty to play. Everyone's excited for Shedeur Sanders to play. First of all, if you look at any other app across the board on these lines, Shedeur Sanders' line is like 135 or something like that. So you have all of these other sports books, whether it's Underdog, whether it's Sleeper, whether it's Chalkboard. I talk about these other apps, guys. You can use them to kind of cross-pollinate, the line on PrizePicks. This is a classic example of people just throwing money at the wall and being, oh my gosh, Shedeur Sanders is playing tonight, I'm going to bet him over. And everyone is driving this lineup right now on PrizePicks. All these people that are just randomly betting entries right now, this is such a solid line to bet. It's a similar story with Ashton Genty. Could Shedeur Sanders put up a 200-yard game? Yeah, of course he could do that, right? It's football. Anything can happen in football. But again, his line is way too high right now. I want to show you guys something and why I like this line so much. Again, like I don't care if he plays 3 quarters or even 3.5 quarters. First of all, they have like four or five quarterbacks on the depth chart. I think the only one else coming in is Tyler Huntley tonight. But again, if we looked at Trey Lance on the Chargers game a week ago, he had a very, very good reception from the public. He played 3 quarters and he only threw for 120 yards, okay? Shedeur Sanders could have a really, really solid game tonight and throw for 130 yards. If he threw for 130 yards tonight, that would be a really solid game, and people would be talking him up, and people would be like, wow, really good performance from him. If we look at a player like Drew Lock last night, he throws for 147 yards, and he threw 22 times, okay? 22 times for Drew Lock, and this is a really, really solid player that has multiple years of NFL experience under him and even started some games in the NFL. The main thing I want to show you guys is if you scroll over here to NFL lines. So these are lines happening like a month from now. These are like actual game lines when the season actually starts. So not preseason lines. And you'll see all the starting quarterbacks. If we look at quarterbacks like Justin Fields, if we look at quarterbacks like Drake May, if we even look at quarterbacks like Cam Ward, the #1 draft pick that's going to be playing the first game of the season, with his starters, with Calvin Ridley, with other players on the Titans that can catch a lot better than some of these players that Shedeur Sanders is going to play with. His line is 194 right now. Shedeur Sanders' line is 155. What I'm getting at is that Shedeur Sanders' line is close to Cameron Ward's full game line in the first game of the season. Why that's important is Cam Ward is probably going to lose this game, first of all, and he's probably going to play in the fourth quarter and get a lot of yards in the fourth quarter, because what happens in football is in the fourth quarter when you're losing, you're going to try to pass the ball a lot to get back into games. So Cameron Ward's going to play the full game unless something crazy happens. He's going to play the fourth quarter. Similar situation with a lot of these guys. Justin Fields, same thing. You could say the same thing there. Justin Fields, even though, you could have your opinion about Justin Fields, he's still a starting caliber football player, okay? Drake May, same thing. Drake May's a really, really good player. He was drafted number 2 or 3 last year. He is his line right now is like in the low 200s. Same thing with Bryce Young. It's 203. Why is Shedeur Sanders anywhere close to some of these guys that are playing a full game in a full football competition? All right, Shedeur Sanders, I like him. I like him as a person. I like him as a player even. This line is way too high. Okay, it's the same thing with Ashton Genty. People are hyping up his line over and over and over again, and you can find a lot of this in the preseason, right? Look to do the same thing with Travis Hunter. Look to do the same thing with some of these guys that are really hyped up, because these people will just be like, oh, there's a preseason game on tonight, I'm gonna watch it. Why do you think a lot of people are watching the Browns game tonight? It's because Shedeur Sanders is playing. All right, they want to see how he does. They want to see if he does bad, if he does good. They want to hate watch him, whatever it is. They want to bet his over, and they think he's going to get 300 yards. That's not going to happen tonight, guys. Okay, if it does, whatever, it is what it is. But again, 100. If you bet this 100 times, there's 80 out of 100 times he's going under this line, right? No one can argue with me about that. That is just fact. Okay, so we're gonna take this line here. We're gonna take both these plays, and again, hope that Shedeur Sanders does go under. I'm mostly hoping that he goes under this. I don't know why his line bumped up so much from this. I think they just announced. I think what it was, that they announced that Dylan Gabriel is not playing, so it gives Shedeur Sanders probably another drive or two or something. But anyway, guys, if you do want to sign up for the VIP, you can go ahead and text me the word Bovada. That should also be linked below, or you'll see a little banner of that. And it's completely free to you. You can do the same thing with Better. You can do the same thing with REBET, and you can do the same thing with Novig. If you're worried if these are not legal in your state or whatever it is, obviously the graphs or the map of the state of the country is here that you can find your state in, okay? And these are legal, especially REBET and Novig, legal in most states that you're going to be betting in, all right, guys? So thank you guys for watching. I'm going to go ahead and end it here, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video.